Hello guys, and welcome to a new WARNO video today by me, Vulcan. In this one I have for you a 3 versus 3 on rocks, and I'm going to be using the new Unternehmen Zentrum as my division today on the packed side. So this is a new map that came out with the latest update to the game. Pretty cool. Has this nice sort of river that travels all the way through the center of the map, and then you've got sort of some area on the left which is mountainous, and on the right it's quite open. So I'm going to be taking the left side of the map. We've got Foxtrot and Hotel to contest. We have Samuel here who's going to be going towards the center of the map, and we've got Sathor who's going to be trying to cover the right hand side with his 4th Modschützen. Let's have a quick look at the units that we've got going here at the start. We've got the Fallschirmjäger and the Fallschirmjäger Metis. Fallschirmjäger Metis, pretty good because they benefit a lot from the accuracy that you get with the extra veterancy on those Fallschirmjäger units. Then we have the Aufklärer with the UAZ KPV, the KPV having the KPVT, the UAZ, sorry, having the KPVT, which is really good for dealing with enemy infantry. I've got Aufklärer basically just splitting off all over the place. Going to be dropping an Aufklärer here, sending the Jeep over to the left hand side just so that we don't get any flankaroos around the left hand side. Early on though, we're up against Spliffer here, who's going to be bringing in plenty of these Gazelles and an Alouette. So we're going to be wanting to deal with those helicopters ASAP. So I'm bringing in a MiG-23ML. I actually changed my target to the Alouette, because taking away the recon means that the Gazelles are going to be a lot less effective. Now the Harrier GR3 does turn to engage the MiG-23. Fortunately, only one of those hitting. The second missile actually exploded short, so that was handy. And those GR3s, well, they only have 2 AIM-9s. So I'm pretty free here to just continue my engagement against the Gazelle. And then I'm going to go straight after the Harrier. Unable to get on its tail just yet. And he's going to give the evac order. So a fun little journey with the MiG-23 so far. Does have 1 missile left, so potential maybe to take down 1 more Gazelle. I've got the rest of my units in position here. A couple Iglas, brought up a TATB and a T64 BV. I've also got the Cub. These Cubs going to be trying to help us engage and blow the Gazelles out the sky. Very cool. I do have a T813 early on that I brought in with those Cubs because I knew that I would need extra supply. Now you guys might have noticed that the UI is slightly different. You can now see the health of units on the bottom of the unit card. The supply symbol looks slightly different. This is still going to be adjusted, so that's a work in progress. But the MI9 here, command helicopter, guys. That is not something you see very often. But since I've caught that, or captured that, I'm going to lift it off, and we're going to go capture Delta. So I don't need to leave it in the sector anymore. This is a new change that was made in the latest update. You no longer need to leave a command in the sector in order to capture it. You can just capture it and then move the command out, unless, of course, there is an enemy command also trying to capture the sector, in which case you're going to need to leave a command in there to contest. So Fallschirmjäger Metis here trying to get the better of the Fox. Didn't quite manage to. That is a P4 Milan. It's going for my T64 BV. The first missile already hit. The second one also going to be able to hit. Unfortunately, didn't get the smoke off in time, but looked very cool and cinematic as the smoke fires as it blew up. The Metis squads, or the TATB, did manage to kill that, but that is not a good trade for me early on. Losing a T64B like that, not great. Anyway, getting my Aufklärer forwards. Unfortunately, lost my Aufklärer over here because I didn't even unload them as the rockets unleashed onto the UAZ KPV, but MiG-23 finally going to be getting that out of here. After the engagement with the Harrier, I actually forgot about it on the left-hand side for a little while, so yeah, that was a bit of a mistake on my part. Yeah, so I'm going to have to leave the MI8, or MI9, sorry, sitting in the Delta sector because they are also trying to capture it, as you can see. which is not ideal. Like, I don't really want to have this here to contest. Ideally, in contested sectors, you probably want a command tank, or you want like a command infantry unit that you can hide. Having a command helicopter contest this is not great. But Samuel does have a BTR-60 coming up. I don't really have anywhere else to put this right now. And honestly, the Mi-9 should be relatively safe in this position because it's not exactly in any form of line of sight. Unless something maybe sees it that's on the edge of the river. I'm just taking things easy, making sure that my recon's in position so that we can potentially push soon. Bringing up a T-64 BVK. This is quite simply to contest the next sector, hotel. That would be the plan. And I've got a Aufklärer here with the UAZ to cover off the open ground on the top side here. SVG-9 also going to be on the way, another T-64 BV to replace the one I lost. We've got the BMP-1P here as well, with the Razvedka, the Mot Razvedka. This map is pretty cool. It's a little bit darker than some of the other maps, as you might have noticed. When you zoom in, it's a lot of shadows make things very, very dark. I actually quite like the lighting. It definitely makes things like these missiles look really cool. Like HGMs, like air-to-air, anti-air missiles, that kind of thing. Look really, really cool in this kind of lighting. And this little symbol next to the unit here, that shows that it's being buffed by a leader unit. And you will see more of these throughout the game. But basically there are symbols now that represent the buffs that different units can give. So this is an example of the leader one. There's like a security one that's like a shield, which basically reduces the amount of suppression units take. There are other ones as well that can apply to the unit itself, like a security unit might have the security symbol, which is like a little man and his dog. Yeah, just try and take out the P4 Milans here so they don't take out any more of my tanks. Unfortunately, lose the KPV UAZ here. Got it a bit too close to the Jaegers. Going to have to fall back from that in the meantime. But Su-22 coming in for the cluster strike. Looking to kill the M1 in there, the Abrams. I think I did manage to get the kill. That was a very successful strike. No significant AA for my opponent just yet. We did see some when my Harrier came in. Well, not Harrier, my MiG came in back here. We did get shot at by AA. But this is when I'm going to see the Sonderwagen on the left-hand side, and I'm going to use an Su-22 to engage that. I'd already engaged it once with those rockets. And that's the Sonderwagen dealt with. This is actually another one of those cool new units. We're up against Berlin Command. So we are going to see plenty of those, and manpad there revealed on the side. Coming in for the rocket strike onto the Chieftain. Decent amount of damage, to be honest, and we routed it. So that was really, really nice. Solid strike there by the Su-22. Still has rockets and its main gun remaining, but unfortunately losing line of sight. I don't want to overcommit too much just in case he's brought in some AA by now. But one thing that is kind of difficult for him to have is plenty of AA, because he's playing Berlin Command. Berlin Command only has manpads and PVADs. That's pretty much it. But of course I don't want to be flying over PVADs for too long. RAGR3 dodging plenty of Kub rockets. Unfortunately not that last one. With a sprinkle of fire from the Borussia, which had already done the damage, the Kubs are going to finish the job. Aufklärer hit on the right hand side. I think I had them on return fire so they didn't reveal themselves against the Jaeger here. But I managed to get some of my Fallschirmjäger up into hotel, and the further these get, the better it's going to be for me. We've now got some enemy artillery coming in. Gazelle's still hanging out on the left hand side. My position here, I'm just building up so that I'm primed to push into hotel eventually. Meanwhile, we've got Sathor. He's holding on to the right-hand side the best he can. He's got a tough matchup over here, since he's up against Jagd. and he's got the 4th Mudschützen. Now, 4th Mudschützen, they rely a lot on their T-55s, whereas both of the units he'd be potentially up against, the 2nd Panzergren and the 3rd Armoured, have Leopards and M1 Abrams, so kind of outclassing him a bit. Anyway, Borussia going to be able to hit the Gazelle, but here comes the Nighthawk. There it is. A lot of you guys wanted to see this in game. That's actually going to go for the bomb onto the Borussia and will destroy it. And my Cub wiping out of the sky, because currently it has no ECM. Like a missile straight to the ass, and that's job done. Now, Su-22 coming in. I'm actually going to be using this as anti-helicopter, but I decided to take the opportunity to shoot down the GR3 just because it was so perfectly aligned in front of us. Going to be taking a hit from that man-pad though, unfortunately, which is going to make it less likely for me to be able to follow up the Gazelle. T-64 PV. I did move this over here. Unfortunately, the Leopard that was there managed to get a shot off, so I had to smoke and fall back. And the Su-22 looking for a shot either onto the Gepard 1A1 or the Leopard 1A5. Going to commit to the Gepard. Couldn't quite get line of sight because of the building there. It was just too close. Like tucked in between these buildings, so no direct line of sight for me to take advantage. So I'm just going to fall back because our cohesion went to low. And I've brought in a Buratino. And the Buratinos are one of the best ways for this division to push. You can get 2 of them. So you can just like plaster an area and then push forwards. Now my main concern at the moment was that he had tanks on this left hand side and he's also got tanks and stuff on this right hand side. So I need to basically shut down one side. I can either go for these units out in the open, or we can try and deal with this. Now he's much more likely to kind of be camping out in the trees here. So my plan was to like Buratino the left hand side and then just push across the open with the T-80Bs to engage the M1IP Abrams. As Abrams was fire positioning the building, I moved out just behind. I changed the smart orders, or not smart orders, I think it's rules of engagement is what they're called, so that it doesn't automatically get back in the building. That was quite important in that situation. Oh, tornadoes coming in. Juicy strike there from Sturmsource. Fortunately not doing too much damage to Sathor's units overall. And it looks like one of those is going to get shot down. Will the second one go down? It will. Borussia, Kub. Nice combination. It is important, I think, that you have a combination of both SPAG and missile AA where possible, because they complement each other really well. Because especially in this case where the Kub does like 9 damage, all you need is 1 extra damage. So if a Borussia is firing at an enemy aircraft and it just does that 1 little bit of damage, then you're pretty much guaranteed the kill when the Kub hits. So it's a really nice combination. Also, Borussias can cover your missile AA against helicopters very well. They will lower the cohesion of helicopters very quickly and potentially stun them, allowing the missiles to get off in time. Whereas what can happen if you just have a missile AA unit up against a helicopter is it will just get run down. It happens to manpads quite a lot. So Fallschirmjäger here managing to get a nice kill onto the transport before they unload. Tried to jump in the building there to grab the second as well, but Spliver going to be moving back. On the left side, still a little bit worried about units over here sneaking up. Constantly trying to go for the flank. There's not really much to gain from flanking around here because there's no sectors back here. He's got to go for Foxtrot if he wants to actually do anything. But my Buratino aiming at the moment, you can see it's going to be targeting the left-hand side. Meanwhile, Mi-24 finds and is going to kill the BGS and rifle squad on the side of the hill there. Absolutely annihilated. But let's not miss the Buratino strike. So I'm hoping to kill the chieftain that was here, and also the HDGM that fired, if that was like a Milan. But just going for the overwhelming engagement against the M1 IP, we don't really do much damage to the front armor with a T80B, but it's like 2 damage per hit. And since I have such overwhelming advantage, and we have the leader nearby, which is increasing their veterancy, we just completely overwhelm the M1 IP, which is great. And now we're going to be able to help kill the rifles here. VulcanHD doing good damage. And this is my chance to try and push up. If I can take up the PVADs as well, that'd be fantastic. Took out a Fox there. Artillery coming in hot for the VulcanHD though, that's for sure. So Chieftain didn't actually die. Does get taken out though. I'm going to have to smoke off and pull this one back because it got very low after taking a shot. BRM moving up. Managed to get that into cover just in time. I'm going to smoke it off just in case anyway, because I might have still had line of sight. Now we got a GR3 coming in. Looking for the cluster strike. We'll be able to get the cluster munitions off, and the T80B was already damaged, so definitely going to be going down. Cubs will be looking to take that out. Unfortunately, missing the majority of their shots. The inherent accuracy of the Cub is only 40%. So that does happen, unfortunately. Now the T813, it ended up using up a lot of its ammunition to resupply the Buratino. So my Cubs don't actually have more missiles for now. We're going to be getting away from the artillery. It's very important that when you're using books, Cubs, that kind of thing, that you do change your position after you fire with them. Oh, Nighthawk there, getting a nice kill. Blew my tank sky high with the laser guided bomb. Coming round for another go though. Definitely playing with fire. Very lucky that my Cubs are offline for the most part. About that one missile. Gonna get the job done. And the Nighthawk goes down. That's the second one dealt with. My Su-22 definitely getting way too close to the sun. That was my bad. I just kind of brought it in and just forgot about it. It flew way deeper than I hoped it would. The idea was just to have it kind of floating around here, and then I could maybe pick off a unit or two if I needed to. You see, back here I have now brought in the RM70s. I really wanted to try these out, see if they were useful these days. We've got the Napalm BM21 as well. It's going to be trying to provide some fire. But the idea was that I would napalm here. That would basically unseat the tank that we saw previously in this location, and then that would allow me to make another offensive across the open with my tanks, because I've got a couple of T64Bs, we got T80B. Biggest problem though is of course ammo and munitions right now, so that I can resupply. But here go the BM21 and the RM70. The rockets going to be trying to do some damage to the PVADs. A direct hit there only did 2 damage. So I'm really questioning, you know, how good these are. Nice hit there though, at least. So I took out one of the PVADs. Meanwhile, Napalm over here does actually take out a supply vehicle. So not completely useless. And you can see that it is stressing these units quite a lot. That bar underneath the symbol, a red bar, shows that the cohesion is low. Oh, unfortunate HGM there just wipes out my T64. 2A3. Going to be taking an HGM though, straight to the face. And that's a really good kill for me actually. Taking out 2A3 with a T64. It's nice. So now I've got double book coming up as well. And books are considerably better than Cubs due to their accuracy being 65% instead of 40%. They also have extra range. That's really big. Mi-24 here, finding more infantry. Actually finding a Javelin squad, but that Javelin squad failing to do much damage. Only have 3 HE, so the Mi-24 really doesn't have to care too much about that. PVAS does get killed, and my T-64 has moved forwards, and since they didn't leave a command in this sector, we've fully capped it, which is going to put us at a +2. Currently there's 20 minutes left on the clock. We are just about starting to catch up with points. They are going to move their command back into the sector so they can contest this, and now there's a Harrier GR3 on the way. If that Harrier GR3 was going for my T-64, I'd be kind of worried. But look at those missiles go. Yeah, not a nice time to be a Harrier, that's for sure. And moving the cubs immediately after firing. Getting those cubs up. Although I do want to resupply my Mi-24 here and get it fixed up. That way I can have it hovering around the left hand side to deal with any infantry that's still trying to flank me. T-64 can probably move forwards again now, although an HGM coming in, definitely not going to be fun. A Milan 2 in the side armor could probably one-shot my T-64 actually. This left side actually going well. We're getting VulcanHDGaming deep. Even a Motorized up there, which is really nice. My Buratino is resupplied, and I'm going to be moving that up so that we can maybe put pressure onto the backside of Delta. But Harrier GR3 managing to get its bombs off. My missile's really not hitting fast enough. So I do lose that VulcanHDGaming squad, but we managed to kill the plane at least eventually. Now a couple more aircraft coming in, 2 tornadoes. We'll get hit by the Barusa a little bit, and Osa shoots it down. Another Harrier came in there. That crashed straight into my T-64 BBK. And unfortunately, artillery hitting my T-80B hard in the meantime. If you don't move this in time, you are going to lose tanks like that. Artillery can be extremely deadly at the moment. Samuel trying to support me with the Mi-24 VP. Nice helicopter flares there, look at that, that's really cool. Can't really sit in front of a Javelin LML too long. Now I'm going to be getting my RM-17 and my BM-21 to engage the backside of that sector again. My plan was to just try and get him to move his command out so that we could cap with the T-64 BBK. Artillery coming in hot there for the T-64 BBK, but thankfully moving it in time. What I didn't move in time though was my books. And having fired with those previously, he's going to hit my T-813 munition truck, which is really bad, and hit my book. Now these aren't cheap, they're 180 points, so losing those, not ideal. Losing the supply though, really annoying. The supply is relatively limited. Alright, here goes the Buratino. Hoping to kill the Fuchs here. Unfortunately not quite getting it. But able to do some damage to the 2A3 and kill whatever's in the buildings there. Yeah, kill onto that command vehicle would have been really good, because we would have been able to stop the contest there. Unfortunately, enemy artillery comes in, smashes my T-64 BBK, leaving behind plenty of craters there as well. I'm not trying to follow up that rocket strike that I did with this infantry, but we're coming under a lot of mortar fire. Mortar fire not terribly effective still. Good for lowering cohesion, potentially. I say that, but all the cohesion on these units is relatively high. Another Milan kill onto my T-80B. In this case, I think we ran out of smoke. 2 450 kilogram bombs there, managing to wipe those 2 squads. We've still got more infantry harassing me on the left-hand side. Javelin LML out in the open. Not where you're going to want to have it. Allows me to just run it down with the Mi-24D. This is something really cool that you can do with helicopters in this game. If you just fly in the general same direction as the unit you're trying to kill, the helicopters can often still fire their rockets on the move. So it's worth almost doing that. Getting a little bit too close here though, and that's 3 missiles right to the face. Mi-24 going down. Unfortunate. Mi-24D going to be going for the left side there. Meanwhile, getting more munition trucks in for my Buratinos. Decided not to ever really resupply the Napalm BM-21, so you won't be seeing this again. You do get 2 strikes from those 40 rockets. For the RM-70 you get 4 strikes from the 80 rockets. Another Sonderwagen taken out on the left hand side. Still plenty of infantry here, so Mi-24D going to be getting that Yak B on target, but now under fire from the Javelin LML. These Su-25s kind of tanking a lot of shots for me. And yeah, getting both of them shot down though, unfortunately. We'll have the Mi-24 come over back to a supply vehicle, just so I can get it repaired. So there is potential for me to contest Hotel still, so another T-64 BBK on the way. And I'm going to have the Buratino try again at destroying this area. You see again the craters and the devastation. Really, really cool. A little bit of a lull in the action on our side. But meanwhile, Yag's still trying to pile on the pressure on Saythorpe. T-64 PV having a go at the M1IP Abrams. I was looking for a side shot there, as that M1IP is on the move. Do manage to find it. Now I'm going to be continuing the engagement with the other one. One really nice thing about Soviet tank engagements when you're playing as the Soviets is you do have autoloaders. And what that means is stress, like your lower cohesion, doesn't lower rate of fire, whereas an Abrams like naturally has lower rate of fire, and then also when it takes stress over time it gets even worse. So you can really take advantage of that. You just need to be careful generally when you're playing with packed units of like the first strike capabilities. Tornado comes in, Seed aircraft does take out one of my books. That's okay, because those Seed aircraft aren't cheap. And we managed to shoot it down with the Cubs. In the end I decided to put a BRM-1 here, just so that we could see and take care of a lot of this infantry. Tornado F3, making a very, very bad decision to fly right over my AA. Missiles get the job done. Oh, now we've got a Eugen firing away. Looking for shots onto the 2A3. A Eugen, when it can do quite a lot of damage if it gets a shot on target. It's just kind of rare that you hit exactly what you want to. This AH-1 caused a little bit of problem for any infantry that I push forwards. Still haven't really repaired these. Got my own artillery firing away again at the backside of the sector. Generally, this sort of like infantry push across the open isn't anything for me to really worry about. I've got a couple of T-ATBs here that can just stop and kill this and then carry on. The majority of my units, though, bringing in more Fauci Mega Metis, and even some of these Vachschutz and Stoss that I can push on this left-hand side. Mi-24D coming up. A little bit risky, it's only on 4 health. If there's no AA here, just easy kills. And you can see I'm microing it to just fly towards the infantry. Now at this point, I do run out of those 80mm rockets, so I'm going to be using the Yak-B machine gun, chain gun, to get the kill onto these units. CVs do manage to kill the Fallschirmjäger in the meantime. Spliff is still managing to hold me back. At close range, nothing to worry about here. VGS do not have AT, so can't deal with the TATB. Might have to be a little bit careful about rifles. They do have the law, but with these Mi-8Ts coming in from Samuel, yeah, they don't last very long. Nice bombing strike there onto that rifle squad as well. Unfortunately, I did lose one of my VulcanHDGaming before they unloaded. This is one of the new units in Unternehmen Zentrum. They come with the Scorpions and satchel charges. Pretty good for dealing with units at close range. I'm in a bit of a predicament here because I've got a Lynx AH7 firing at me. And that does have ITO HGMs. I got a bunch of these Eaglers, but a couple of them pretty low on ammo. One of them perfectly fine with ammo. Yeah, I'm just going to smoke off eventually, but I don't have to deal with those HGMs coming in for the time being. SPGs moving up, and I'm also going to bring up a couple of these Flak Strela 10Ms because they have infrared. They're going to be more useful for taking down helicopters. Although in this case, yeah, maybe I could have just moved up my Eaglers. I also opted to bring in a couple MiG-23s. Just anything to really get rid of those helicopters so that I could use my TATBs again. But this TATB gets fixed up whilst the smoke's going on, which was good. That's one Lynx dealt with. Tried to take out the second, unfortunately. Didn't really have enough time on target to kill that off. Now the cluster bombers coming in, looking for one cluster bomber onto the Chieftain Mark 10, one cluster bomber onto the M1 IP. Also had the S22 go for the Chieftain Mark 10. This was the Rocket 1. But that's now going to get shot down as well. A double TATB. Trying to deal with the Chieftain. If I can kill that off, especially after those two strikes on the left hand side, it will allow me to take quite a lot of ground. Looking for HGM kills now onto these CEVs. SPG-9's also able to engage, which is going to help out a little bit. The Fallschirmjäger Metis and the VulcanHDGaming making great ground on the left side. I'm even bringing up my T-64s here to support, even though they are a bit damaged. I've got my T-64 BVK moving up. I'm going to be able to contest this sector. I did end up killing his command unit on the left hand side. That tells me basically as soon as I come into this sector with my leader, I should basically full capture it. Would be great. He also managed to take out the P4 before it unloaded, so that was good. Now the T813 is moving quite far forwards. These were trying to move into a position where I could repair the tanks easier. Nice bombing strike there. Harrier GR3. Getting away with it. Coming in and turning tight there away from my AA. It's really good. But MiG-29s looking for those last missiles. Unfortunately, not quite finding it. Now we have more aircraft coming in again. Tornado GR1 looking for some radar kills. It's bombs away. Looking for the T-64 BVK. Was really worried that that would die. Fortunately for me, those 119 kilogram bombs Not really doing anything. I'm now Buratinoing the backside of this sector. I've managed to find the +2 by fully capping this. We're still behind on points, so I want to hold this +2. There's only 5 minutes left on the clock. I'm also trying to obviously get rid of this command so that we can get a +3 and really secure a victory in this game. On the right side, Saithor's still holding his ground, which is good. We've got Samuel trying to make a bit of a push in the mid. Yeah, this play on the left side, managing to get really deep into this sector, helping us a lot. My Igla's now able to help by getting range onto these helicopters. He's also got his own Mistrals hanging about. The Seed aircraft of Saithor there coming in for the close range runs. Nice thing about Seed aircraft in this role is that they do have a lot of ECM, so 40% ECM. So they are able to dive deep for helicopters like that situation just there. Yeah, I want to take out these Mistrals because then I can take off the Mi-24D I've got back here, as you can see. It's just like landed behind the T-813. But just as I take out the Mistrals and I'm about to take it off, artillery comes in and kills the Mi-24, so unfortunate. Couldn't win either way. Another helicopter gets a kill. Look at the wreck here. We got all of these craters, the smaller craters, the bigger craters, and then just wrecks of all these different vehicles. It's really cool. Iglas trying to get kills on the B01 or B0105. T64 taking a lot of damage there from the Hot 2. Igla does manage to save me. This Igla now moving forwards. I know the T813 is here, so I can resupply, but yeah, just trying to take these out as quickly as possible. That T64 takes a HHM up the ass. Not ideal, and the double Eagle coming in there does take out one of my SUs. I was having that hover around here so I could take care of the 2A3 on the backside of this sector. T64 smoking itself off. We're trying to make a retreat. Rela 10Ms in the meantime do take out the BO-105, which is good. My infantry still dealing with enemy infantry on the other side. The nice thing about Fallschirmjäger in this situation now, because they have traits, this is something actually I didn't mention so far. Traits are now a thing in this game. We have the Special Forces Shock and Resolute trait, whereas the Engineers just have the Shock trait. So at this sort of close range engagement, Fallschirmjäger actually have a pretty decent advantage. The main thing that would be scary is the numbers of the Engineers potentially. But I do lose my leader. But we are now over 110 points ahead, which is good. I'm going to be seeing the Fuchs here. I couldn't believe that he had it that far forwards. It was probably just to avoid me from Buratinoing the backside of the sector and finding and killing it that way. He left it further forwards, which is going to allow my tanks to engage it. Mirage coming in. Oh, steep bombing strike, look at that. Boom. Takes out my Fallschirmjäger, takes out the Avkladder. SPG-9 though doing work. And I did manage to take out this command. We're back to a +1 with 1 minute left on the clock. And I think I did just enough to secure the victory here for my team. As the SPG-9 continues to try and use its shots on the Chieftain. You're probably wondering how this is able to do damage. Because it's technically a heat round. So it always does at least 1 damage. It does run out of ammo, so not going to be able to finish off either of those. Mi-24 BP now coming in. And I've got it on an order that was planning to try and take out the enemy leader. I see, of course, the M577 on the left side here. The MI8 on the left does manage to finish that off. I'm pulling away with the Mi-24 BP because it's probably a Mistral's trying to shoot me down. Eagler's managed to take out the Gazelle though. It's 5 seconds left. Pioneer Fjorda was coming in to try and counter cap this in the center again. That is it. Our victory, minor victory, after 40 minutes. And 8,816 kills to 6,480 losses. A significant number of kills for sure. I'm really big fan of Unternehmen Zentrum. I think in the latest update, it is definitely the stronger of the two divisions. You get some seriously good AA in both the Cubs and the Books. You get plenty of Iglers, you get the STALEMATE, so you've got a really nice sort of well-rounded AA tab. Your air tab is quite nice with the Su-22s, but you really lack long-range air superiority fighters. Like the MiG-23 ML, it's okay against like helicopters in this scenario. These are like low health helicopters, so the MiG-23 ML can kill them in one pass. But it's not going to do anything really against like an Apache. Like you do damage, but it probably wouldn't get the kill in one pass at least. But yeah, the Cub's doing really well for me here. Couple GR3s, we took down the Nighthawks. My T-80s definitely lost plenty of tanks, 280 gems when I could have avoided it. But the Mi-24 coming in clutch on the left-hand side, covering off my flank. We got the Buratino, of course, that was absolutely blasting. T-64 definitely getting plenty of kills, like M1IP kills for these T-64s is really nice. And this T-64 BVK claiming that 2A3 kill. Book getting plenty of kills there. T-80 even getting the Fuchs kill, so that was good. And yeah, just in general, having Fallschirmjäger, having heavy tanks, having decent AA, a really solid mix of units that leads to success. And I think this division is actually pretty strong. So a nice little look there at Unternehmen Zentrum and the new map Rocks. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.